Hi, I'm Shaul. In the last video, I showed you the output of three 35mm lenses with varying degrees of pop. All three lenses were poppy. They were certainly not flat lenses. I asked you to match each sequence in that video to the lens you thought it was shot with. And I had my suspicions about your connoisseurship, or how accurate your guesses would be. But to be quite honest, I didn't expect the results to be quite as poor as they were. Let's go through some mathematics. I don't want to make it too complicated. So in the exercise you performed during the survey I published was as follows. It had two stages. In the first stage, you had to guess one out of three lenses. So your chances to get it right were 1/3, and the chances of getting it wrong were 2/3. That is if you have no clue. If you make a purely uneducated guess by complete chance. In the second stage of that process, there were two lenses left. So the probability of you making a correct match was 50%, and the probability of making an incorrect match was also 50%. Now, if you aggregate the probabilities in those two stages, which are independent of each other, the probability for making two incorrect matches was 2/3 times 1/2, which is 1/3. The probability of making two correct matches was 1/3 times 1/2, which is 1 in 6. And the probability to guess one of the lenses correctly was half, which is 1 minus 1/3 minus 1/6. Now, of course, if you guessed correctly two of the lenses, the third one would fall into place. It would also be correct. If you made two incorrect guesses, the third one will also fall into place and it would be incorrect. So you might want to know what the distribution of correct answers was coming out of this survey. Well, 28% of the respondents had 0 correct matches, or 2 incorrect matches, 3 incorrect matches. That is compared to 33% if the matching was made completely by chance. The proportion of respondents who had one correct match was 52%. That is in comparison to 50% if you made the matching process completely random. And the proportion of respondents who had both matching made right was 21%, compared to about 17% if the matching were made completely by chance. So in conclusion, the level of connoisseurship coming out of this survey is quite poor. Definitely it surprised me a little bit. I thought even unassuming viewers would be able to tell more of the difference between those lenses. To be honest, I'm not sure I would have done any better, although I've been exploring the characteristics of lenses for a long time. And I think I have developed an eye for you. Might wonder which of those three lenses that were showcased in that video scored the best or were the most liked. First of all, let's look at the lens you thought you liked best based on your matching process. 45% liked the Nikon 35mm f1.4G the most, or so they thought. 38%, not far behind, is the Thypoximera 35mm f1.4, which is supposed to give you the poppiest image out of the three. And only 17% thought they liked the Nikon AFD 35mm f2, which is the oldest lens out of the three, and that is supposed to give you the flattest image out of them all. Although the image it produces is not flat, it's poppy, according to a previous survey I made, according to my experience with it, and also according to the design, the structure, the chemistry of the glass in that lens. The actual lens you liked the most was still the Nikon 35mm f1.4G, but it won this little competition more comfortably. About 59% of the respondents really liked that lens. In the second place was the Nikon AFD 35mm f2. Again, the oldest lens, by far the simplest one and the most affordable one, which got 28% of the votes. In the last place was the Thypoximera, which won the heart of 14% of the respondents, only 1 in 7. Although it has the highest pop, and it is also the newest lens out of the 3. Personally, I like the output of this lens a lot, but apparently the respondents to this poll do not share my opinion on it. I also asked you to state the size of screen you were watching the video on. And it is apparent that the larger the screen, the more different the perception is between those lenses. Respondents who watched the video on an iPhone screen or a tablet or any smaller screen gave an equal preference, more or less, to all 3 lenses. But ones who watch it on a larger screen, either on a laptop screen or on a proper TV set, gave the Nikon 35mm f1.4G an overwhelming preference, something between 70 and 80%. Of course, they liked the Nikon AFD and the Thypox even less. In fact, the Thypox hardly got any votes on the larger screens. Now, I think that has to do with the contrast coming out of those lenses. Larger screens are less contrasty, less sharpened than smaller screens. So the preference would be for the most contrasty lens. And the Nikon 35mm f1.4G is contrasty. It is contrasty in the right places. It gives you a clear understanding of the structure of objects, of their 3-dimensional shape. But it is not too contrasty at the very high frequencies. It doesn't accentuate the small details, so it doesn't distract from the viewer's perception of the structure. The Ximera might have the lowest contrast out of all 3 lenses. This is why it was the least liked. Although it's a matter of taste, contrast can be easily added in post-processing. But when the small details are too contrasty, it is rather hard to take this contrast away. So this is really what makes the difference between poppy and flat lenses. In today's video I will repeat this exercise with the 350mm lenses. I am almost certain that this time you will do better in another survey I will put up, especially for this video. The first lens we will examine together is this one. It's the Nikon 50mm f1.8 made for the Z mount. It's a very modern lens, very sharp and bitey lens. I expect it to be perhaps too flat for a flattering portrayal of the scene. So I expect it to be the least liked of the three I'm going to show you. It has 11 elements in 8 groups. 2 of these elements are made of extra low dispersion glass. So it is basically on the flat side of rendering. We will have a look at it later. The next lens is a very plebeian thing. It's the Konica 50mm f1.8. It was actually my very first optic that I bought with my first reflex camera with interchangeable lenses back in the mid-80s. This lens was released in 1981 and is representative of a lot of similar lenses. The 50mm f1.8 was a ubiquitous thing. Every manufacturer of cameras, every manufacturer of photographic lenses had at least one every given time between the early 70s until now, really. So this lens has 6 elements in 5 groups. It has a double Gauss design that is very typical of that long era. And you can get one on the second-hand market for probably $20 to $25 or euros. We will see how it performs. The third lens we are going to see is this one. It's also a small lens. It's the 7 Artisans 50mm f1.1. Now, this is a lens made for the Leica M mount. And it is typical of a lot of lenses made for rangefinders. It contains quite a lot of high index glass that allows it to be that small despite its large aperture. High index glass is heavyweight. If you look at it side by side with the Konica f1.8, you can see that they are the same size, more or less. But this lens is about 2.5 times heavier than this one. Of course, it contains a little bit more glass, but the thing is that high index glass is heavyweight. It is a lot more dense than the glass used in the conical lens. In fact, 7 Artisans is as heavy as the Nikon 50mm f1.8. This lens is made of 11 elements and has an autofocus mechanism and some electronics. This lens has no such thing. It is 7 elements in 6 groups. And its structure is a hybrid between the planar and the sonar, with some chunky, big, thick elements of dense glass towards the rear of the lens. The 7 Artisans 50mm f1.1 was discontinued. The manufacturer, I think, came to the conclusion that it is too compromised, that the image quality coming out of it was too poor. But we shall see how it behaves later on. I am now shooting with lens number 1. Let's call it that. And while you examine the properties of the footage on your screen, let's discuss a question that one of the viewers asked me. The issue is the future of lens design, where it is going, whether we are going to see harkening back to the older lens design that are made for a more pleasing, more true to life, more dimensional rendering, in more modern lenses that are made for the modern mirrorless cameras, or whether the trend will keep going towards sharper and sharper, high resolving power lenses that will have to be made to match the higher and higher resolution of cameras. Of course, I'm a strong proponent of going back to more lively lenses, lenses that give the viewer a dimensional portrayal of the scene that is easy to interpret, that is more pleasing to the viewers, as I have shown many times in the surveys I've been publishing and analyzing. Viewers really prefer lenses that are dimensional, that are poppy, that portray the illusion of three-dimensionality. To make such a change in the heart of the manufacturers happen, you need one of 3 things to take place. Let's change the lens and keep the discussion going. The first thing that could twist the arm of the manufacturers and make them create such lenses is a demand from the market. And that could come only through education. You see, nowadays there is very little understanding of the effect of optics on the images you get. Even professionals who have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge about cameras and gear, seem to pay insufficient attention to the optics. They just assume the image coming out of the imaging pipeline, the optics and the sensor, and the processing in a camera should be as clean as possible. By clean, I mean it has to be as detailed, as sharp, and as free of any aberrations as possible. They seem to prefer it this way, where you can get a clean result out of the camera and dirty it up along the way if you wish to. They do not seem to understand that some things, like dimensionality, cannot be easily added during post-processing. So the word on the street is, if you want a different, a more cinematic or film-like look, you should have a go with presets that will give you the right color. They will give you the right contrast to emulate these likable old looks. But you will never get them without right optics. Modern optics are often just too sharp. Little details are too contrasting, too distracting. And they do not resemble old images or footage. So it's only through educating the public about the importance of optics, about the relations between the chemistry of glass used in lenses and the characteristics of the images coming out of them, that could create this paradigm shift, which would make manufacturers consider making better glass, more suited for organic living things. This is what I've been trying to do on this channel, but you see, those concepts are quite complicated. Dimensionality cannot be easily measured. It cannot be easily explained. The second thing that might change the game in the industry is an understanding from the manufacturers themselves that modern optical design is inconducive to the likability of the images made by their cameras. I think we are beginning to see some change in that aspect. Well, Nikon has been making lower resolving power lenses for a few years now. Recently, Canon joined them in creating the 45mm f1.2 STM, which also has this characteristic. The manufacturers do not market those lenses correctly, I think. All they are saying, well, those are more affordable options that do not sacrifice the maximum aperture. Those are still rather wide aperture lenses that are made to shoot in low light and support some subject separation, some serious subject separation, although those lenses are in the wide to normal range of focal length. They are not made for portraits, not yet anyway. The optical engineers, the people who are tasked in designing and manufacturing new lenses have only perfection in mind. This is the reason they are employed. This is their expertise. I can imagine them when they are approached and asked to create a more affordable optic, the first choice would be to make its aperture smaller. So it is simpler to manufacture. So it is smaller and lighter and can be sold for a more affordable price. It would go against their instinct, almost against the DNA to compromise on resolving power, because this is the holy grail. It's the goal to match the increasing resolution of sensors we are witnessing, and to future-proof their designs so they can resolve even the best sensors that will be on the market in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The head of optical design at Leica, Peter Graber, his name is, famously boasted about the future compatibility of the Apple lens line made for the SL Leica cameras. He said that those lenses can resolve up to 200 megapixels, if I remember correctly. He also wondered why should anyone stop them down, because they are so perfect, already wide open. I think those arguments are representative of all optical engineers who are employed by camera manufacturers. I will now change the lens again, and we shall see the next one. What you see on the screen now is the footage coming from lens number 3. I will put up a dedicated survey. You will find the link in the description box, where I will ask you to match each sequence of this video to the lens you think it is shot with. To remind you, we have today the Nikon 50mm f1.8 Z lens, the Konica 50mm f1.8 and the 7 Artisans 50mm f1.1. All lenses are shot at f2.8, and I will put the footage side by side before the end of this video. As I said before, lens designers, the engineers who are tasked with optical design and manufacturing, strive for perfection, which is a very clean, a transparent portrayal of the scene, where the more you can see, the clearer the image, the better. You can actually get an idea of how perfect a lens is designed by multiplying the filter thread size by the minimum f number of that lens. So I made a list of many 50mm lenses, so you can see where we stand. For example, the 50mm f1.8 Nikon Z that is featuring in this video. I'm not telling you which of the three sections of this video shot with 50mm lenses it is, but it scored a high level of perfection, above 90, while the 7 Artisans lens that also features in this video scored only about 65 on the perfection scale. And that should give you a good estimate of the compromises made in the design of a lens. Now, of course, there are many types of compromises that can be made to make the lens smaller, lighter, more affordable. You can change the material, the materials the casing is made of. You can give it a plastic mount. You can limit the diameter of the lens, which will create some aberrations, such as vignetting, such as geometric distortion. Canon makes these types of compromises in its VCM lenses. They're hybrid lenses made for video and stills, which are all f1.4, but they are rather small lenses. Because those aberrations are easily corrected by software. On the other hand, Nikon prefers to reduce the amount of ED, or extra low dispersion glass, while making those lenses low in distortion, low in focus breathing, but they have more CA, more fringing, perhaps more field curvature. Each manufacturer has its own preferences in which corners to cut when designing lens that should be more affordable. High-end lenses are, of course, designed for perfection. They are heavy, bulky. The compromises they make are to the size, to the usability, rather than to the optical perfection. The problem with perfection is it looks the same, however it is made. You can get the same result from a very high-end professional camera lens, from a smartphone, or from an AI program on the computer. It will be very hard to tell the difference between images coming from those three sources. And this is the third process that might change the game. Many professionals now seek a more personal style, a unique style that differs from that all-encompassing perfection taking over the market, especially with the advent of AI and the ease of making those perfect, very sharp, detailed images or footage. Manufacturers might be aware of that, although I'm not sure the mainstream, the big ones, are nimble enough to respond to these changes in the market. So I'm not very optimistic about the manufacturers changing the paradigm willingly. I think that the trend towards higher and higher resolution is harming good optical design. There will be always a competition for the highest resolving power in stills, but also in video, which is beyond me. The rise in resolution may have reached a limit when talking about high resolving sensors. I don't think there is any merit in going beyond 60 megapixels or so on a full frame sensor. The problem is that it is less common to see low resolving power cameras. There has been a shift going on from 24 megapixels to 32 or 33 megapixels, again on the full frame, in the full frame segment. And the smaller sensors have even smaller pixel pitches that cannot be resolved by those lenses we like, the more favorable ones. So there will always be a need for those modern high resolving power optics that can resolve 40, 50, 60 megapixels on a full frame sensor. And there will be technically less and less need for lower resolving power lenses. Although, of course, aesthetically there is still a need for lenses that refrain from using ED glass, that prefer higher index glass with maybe a slightly lower contrast, but a more natural, true-to-life look. Please tell me your thoughts about the direction of the imaging industry in the comments. I have a reason to believe the level of connoisseurship we'll see in this poll will be a lot better than what came out of the previous one, because the difference between the rendering of those lenses should be quite obvious. If you would like to support this channel, please consider buying me a coffee. It's a nice gesture between gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.